I'm Pam, and I'm feeling my Ninshubur self today. I'm going to tell you the part of the story that's about the relationship between Ninshubur and Inanna. So Inanna has left her 7 temples, and she's gathered her 7 May and brought them to her chambers where she is dressing, preparing to go to the underworld, to the netherworld. And just then, her sukkal, which is a warrior, an advisor, a messenger, a faithful servant, comes to the door and says, "Oh, Inanna, you're dressing. Let me help you." Now, Sumerian women loved makeup. They loved eye makeup. And they would put their kohl in beautiful containers. They had white and yellow and black and blue, but they didn't have mirrors. So Ninshubur said, "Let me put this on for you." And as she's covering Inanna's eyes to make them beautiful and wide open, she says, "Where are you going anyway?" And Inanna says, "I'm going to the underworld. Ereshkigal has called me. My sister has called me." "Oh, Inanna, now I understand." And she falls to her knees and she takes hold of Inanna's feet and she says, "Oh no, no, beloved Inanna. Queen Ereshkigal has sent you a message. You can send her one. Tell her you are not coming. If you go, you know she is queen of a realm that will exact everything from you. If you go, you will not return unchanged or unscathed. If you return at all, what will happen to me, to our relationship? I love you so much. How could I bear it if you didn't return, or if you came back and our relationship changed? Oh, Inanna, we've been warriors side by side. I've protected you and you me, and if I weren't there to protect you and something happened, I would always blame myself. I would feel I had failed you. Let me talk you out of this. Please stay here. You have the temples, you have Demutsi, you have me, you have beautiful clothes, you have every comfort in the world." No, no, sweet Ninshubur. This is a call. I must answer. If I go, I may die, or some part of me may die, but if I don't go, there's a part of me that will also die. So come, Ninshubur. Let me ask you to do a task I could entrust to no other, only you, because of your love for me. You are my constant support. You've always given me wise advice and had my back. We fought side by side. We've been to each other's birth. And now I descend to another underworld, to a different inner world. And I am going. I must go. And if I don't return in 3 days, beat the drum for me. Set up a lament for me in all of the holy places. Circle the houses of the gods and go to the 3 fathers. Tear at your eyes and your mouth and your thighs. Wear a sackcloth, a garment that like a beggar. And go to ask the 3 fathers for their help in bringing me back. Do not let me die in the underworld. And this is the song I want you to sing to the fathers. "Oh, Father Enlil, do not let your daughter die in the underworld. Do not let your bright silver gather dust in the underworld. Do not let your fine lapis be broken in the underworld. Do not let the priestess of heaven, the holy queen of heaven and priestess of 7 temples, die in the underworld. First go to Nippur, to the temple of Enlil. If Enlil will not help you, go to the temple of Ur and ask Nana to help. Sing the song. If he will not help, go to Eridu and ask Father Enki, the God of wisdom, to help, for he knows the way to the underworld. He has the knowledge of the water of life and the food of life. He will not let me die. While stepping back, she watched Inanna walk away, walking towards her destiny. So many years ago, I was thinking about how every part of a myth is part of our lives, and that through great myths like Inanna, we get hints about the myth that we're living, the story that we're living. There's teachings in myth. So I asked myself, what is the teaching of Ninshubur really? The Ninshubur and Inanna conversation before she goes to the underworld. In all great myths, all of the characters in the myth are a part of you. So in this story, you are Inanna. You are listening to your call. You are preparing for your call. You are answering your call. And you're also Ninshubur. And Ninshubur, one could say, represents the inner voice of doubt, or checking the list twice to make sure you're safe, like a healthy ego. So Ninshubur is, in a sense, in the story, a caretaker. And your ego is your caretaker. So before you do something daring or uncertain or go to the unknown, there's a part of you that thinks, well, what could go wrong here? And have I thought about everything I can do to make sure it's as safe and supported and reasonable as possible for me and everyone else? So in the story, Inanna's a queen and warrior, and so is Ninshubur. Ninshubur is queen of the East. Her power comes from the sun. They're both women of power. And neither one of them are impulsive or arrogant or daring to, in a reckless sort of way. So you have an inner voice of doubt, and there's also a Ninshubur that we hear. All of us have a Ninshubur character in our lives, someone who represents the voice of doubt from the outside. So I call that an outer Ninshubur. And so someone who comes to you and says, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Are you out of your mind? Or have you thought this through? Or do you have to do this? I wouldn't do this. Any of those kinds of things. Sometimes we think, wow, they're not being very supportive of my plan. But there's another way to look at this. A friend or a relative or even your partner is the voice of doubt in your life. Then they act out Ninshubur. And that means that you embody Inanna. You embody the wisdom of Inanna. And you hear the voice of doubt with their positive intention for you. Rather than think, they don't support me, I can't count on them, you could think, of all people, I can almost trust this person the most because they're thinking about my well-being. So I'm going to show you a process to go through how to answer your Ninshubur. So think back in the past few weeks or months or even past year. Think back on someone in your life who was the voice of doubt, who was your Ninshubur, and jot down who that was. And just to remind you that you've also been someone else's Ninshubur, your kids, your partner, for sure your kids, and or your doula client or midwifery client, or we all play this role. So think back when you last did it for someone and what that feeling was in your heart when you asked them to think it through one more time. Think about the arguments and the issues that your Ninshubur raised. What did they ask you to think about? How did they try to dissuade you from doing what you're called to do? What was the positive intention behind their asking you to rethink this? And notice, remember, what did you do when your outer Ninshubur raised the doubt, asked the questions, disagreed with what you were going to do. Did you withdraw? Did you argue? Did you feel hurt? Have you been avoiding them? Sure that they don't care about you? Notice what you did. Remember how Inanna says, above all others, I trust you most with this important task. Because you love me and care about me and worry about me so much, I know you won't forget about me and let me die in the underworld. Sometimes you can even talk to this person and ask them, you know, I want to hear more about why you're saying this. I want to know why my decision is worrying you so much, or how it might affect your life so much. Tell me more about what this is like for you. And that can be a very intimate conversation. And then the last part of this is to do what Inanna did and step into the wisdom of Inanna now. And what did Inanna do? She knew she could give Ninshubur a task. And by giving Ninshubur a task, she wouldn't feel left out of this separation, of this harrowing journey. She would be playing an integral role. I mean, if Ninshubur's idea was to protect Inanna, Inanna gave her a task of protection, you know. And so she could entrust no one else with that because, you know, we as warriors, love warriors in our own life, we're discerning. That's one of the qualities of being a warrior versus a victim, is we're discerning and we look at who can I ask to do this and count on them to do it well. I've talked to so many people over the years, and maybe a mother can't fly in to be at a birth, and she's grieving because she won't be a part of it. And tell the mother the story of Ninshubur and Inanna. You know, you could do that, and you could say, I want you to do something for me that nobody else can do. Recently, I was talking to some parents who are planning a home birth. But should there be a transfer, and with COVID, he was not allowed to go in to be a part of it, he would be at home just pacing and really feeling like he had abandoned her and there was no role for him. So he needed the Ninshubur process. And the part of the process where we say, what are your talents? What is it you can do that no other can do while she's laboring in the hospital? So she knows that you were thinking of her. And this person happened to be a musician. So he could make music and put it on a CD for her. But while she was separated, if she was going to be separated, he was a fantastic cook, very talented, I hear. So he would be instructed to make a very special homemade meal, a homecoming meal, and a birthday cake. And to take his time doing it and bringing all of his love and care into feeding the mother of his child. As soon as they were together, they could share that meal. To feel left out when you know you so want to contribute, and when you're not invited and you don't know what to do, you don't want to barge in. That feeling of being left out is extremely painful to an individual, but also to the relationship. So bring everyone involved together in a constructive way using the Ninshubur process.